Course, half of our Group 1 races now run and won. One to come today, the Crown Oaks before Stakes Day. But what about these stories? The Coolmore Stud Stakes with James McDonald. He finishes with the double on the Empire Rose race as well with a tissue, who backs up on Champion Stakes Day. And Jamie Carr in the Derby with Gold Rush Guru, and then the Melbourne Cup. Yes, the ultimate race, Knight's Choice, one of the great stories with Robbie Dolan aboard. And I'm pleased to say our international racing expert Nick Luck has joined us here at the desk with Francesca as well. I've got to ask, as we look at how the Lexus Melbourne Cup unfolded, how did it all come out in the wash with the international horses here?
Well, the four international horses, they all cashed a cheque of some sort. They all finished in the first half of the field, but no doubt that 3 out of the 4 were pretty disappointing, particularly Vauban. I think owner Rich Ritchie, although he'll come back with another horse, Vauban won't. I think he's quite keen to see if anybody here would buy him and campaign him in Australia, Cheska.
There is talk of leaving him here, whether they leave him here in their ownership or they sell him to someone. There are interested parties already for Vauban, but of the others, Absurd ran a big race in for 5th. And what about Warp Speed? Just nose out of it.
Warp Speed, the Japanese horse, by a nose. I don't think even now anyone can figure out how Knight's Choice won this race. And if you were asked to pick the winner, you might still not pick him.
Oh, goodness me. I mean, I had to watch that race 15 times to work out where he came from, and looking back over his previous performances to think, did we miss something? I think it was the ground was key, and the way he was really able to fight all the way to the line, ducking and diving and weaving, really suited him. He's a tiny little horse, 15 hands won. They turned down 2.3 million for him to go to Hong Kong.
I think this is a key point, because Robbie Dolan could have just tried to ease out and get a trouble-free run right down the outside, and he, as you say, bobbed and weaved, used that handiness, that saved ground, and that ultimately has been the difference between victory and defeat. Check the run of Absurd, white colours, pink cap. He just has to go round 1, and then Zardozi, the Royal Blue, comes back in his face when she stops inside the last furlong. I think that's cost him 2 places. I think he'd have been 3rd but for that.
He's run a great race second year in a row. The Heffernan family think he might come back next year.
You know, with a little bit more give in the ground, just a little give in the ground.
He's got that big action, hasn't he?
He's got a huge cut run in him.
And Rich Ritchie, owner of Vauban, they're deciding what to do with him, but he's decided he wants to come back, and he might name a horse New York Spiv after Eddie called him that on Tuesday. So they're determined to come back.
Brilliant.
We can't get enough of Robbie Dolan. Obviously, the Irishman done good on the back of Knight's Choice, and he's been having a hell of a lot of fun since. What about the reaction back home?
Well, I mean, is he not an even better performer than Ronan Keating? And I've never seen Ronan ride one into the winners' enclosure of Flemington either. It's been an extraordinary week for Robbie Dolan. I spoke to Adrian Keatley, trainer now based in England, formerly based in Ireland, to whom Robbie was apprenticed. He was so thrilled. It was as though he'd won the race himself.
Because before Robbie came here, he had, what, 3 wins in 2 years?
No profile at all, really struggling.
Yeah, and then he came here. I think he was actually associated with the Mark Noonan stable to start out with. He's been in Queensland more recently, but meeting Sheila Laxon on a cruise ship 2 years ago, you couldn't write it.
It's just the most beautiful story, and of course, no rest for the wicked. He's had to take all the publicity yesterday, singing, doing his duet, and today he's off to Ipswich to ride. And I think, was he third? Was he third in?
He's had a roller coaster 24 hours, hasn't he? But running 3rd in Ipswich, he's committed.
I can confirm, for finishing 3rd here, Robbie Dolan himself pocketed $140.
But not quite the Melbourne Cup.
He could have walked into Flemington on Tuesday morning completely unmolested. Nobody in this crowd would have even recognised him. Now he's the most famous man in Australia, and it's resonating worldwide.
He's going to be appearing, we think, on the ITV opening show on Saturday morning.
Is that right?
He's a superstar, but if you still Google his name, singer comes up next to it instead of jockey, which I just love as well, because he's damn good at both. Nick, great to have you here.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to be here. Excellent. Having a blast. Thank you so much.
Enjoy the final 1.5 days of the Melbourne Cup.